Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Happy, Season 1, Episode 3. It's called When Christmas Was Christmas. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. So we were pretty down in this last week. We were not feeling particularly enthusiastic for a number of reasons. Mostly it just wasn't that interesting. It was kind of spinning its wheels, wasting our time. And I'll tell you this. So I start this episode, and there was a little bit in the car at the start with Happy and Sax. And then it went to a flashback. It was like a sort of title card, old-timey Christmas cartoon title card, and it went to this flashback when he was on the force and he was with Mary, and they were, working. They were doing a job, and it was going on for a little bit, and I was like, oh god, is this entire episode going to be this long flashback? Is it a complete flashback episode? And it was, and it did eventually come back, but there was still 4 or 5 flashbacks throughout the episode. And most of those flashbacks were more focused on how his marriage broke down, and also his relationship with Mary, and how that kind of worked at the police force. And this awful crime. He was this wife beater who by the end of the episode kills his wife and puts his baby in the microwave. And then we see him at home making some popcorn in the microwave and just staring at the microwave like he's having Nam flashbacks. I was I was really worried at first because I was like, okay, this feels like more time wasting doing the flashbacks. And it didn't really ever do much to actually convince me otherwise that it wasn't wasting my time.
No, that's fair. That said, I think a lot of the flashbacks took the place of the police stuff we've had in the last couple of episodes. So this was inherently better because it had Sax there at least.
Okay, yeah. I think my problem was that when we got to the baby in the microwave.
Yeah, let's not overlook that.
The baby in the microwave, and obviously you never see it in the microwave. You just see blood in the screen, or the screen, the door.
Yeah,
it was kind of like an old TV at times.
It does.
But you see the blood in the door, and he's just staring at the microwave as it's still kind of it's just humming because it's still on.
Yeah,
and I just thought this is a bit
bit over the top.
Over the top, yeah. It's just so specific. It's like what's the darkest thing you can possibly think of? Let's do that.
Yeah, and part of me respects that they just went out and did it, but then part of me is like, yeah, but why?
Yeah, I don't, because I think it's the way it's filmed more than anything else. I think you can do this and just make it be hard hitting, and you realise what's happened, and you go, oh, shock.
They went for the shock and gore value.
No, he's staring at it for a minute, and you hear it keep going, and you're like, okay, right, you're going too far with it. So that's the thing. He's trying to find the Santa who kidnapped his daughter, and they go to a sketch artist, and Happy basically just describes Santa Claus. He has no useful intel whatsoever. So Sax, through the prostitute we met before in episode 1, it gets some intel and goes to this sort of Santa strip club.
No, this I kind of loved because she takes the money, and goes, oh yeah, you try the North Pole, and you go, oh okay, very funny, and then it cuts to a strip club called the North Pole, and I kind of appreciated that. That is some top quality strip club naming.
No, it's fine. I think my problem though is that once we get to the strip club, nothing of importance happens.
It's the card game of this episode.
Yeah, it is. It's him talking to that stripper for a few minutes. It's him talking to the woman who runs the place for several minutes. And then obviously right at the very end, we get something important happening. But most of the stuff at the strip club is completely just skippable.
It is. I will say, I think this episode is better than the last episode. It's more enjoyable. But I don't think it's as good as the first one.
Do you still want to watch any more of it, though? That's the real question.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm out. I think it's easy to call this right now.
I'm not going to argue.
Because I'm struggling, because obviously normally we talk about shows and we work through the plots and the scenes, and we talk about why things are working, because typically we like the shows we keep on. And right now, I'm not hating. I don't think it's the worst thing ever. I'm not going to tear it to shreds. Well,
we've definitely watched far worse.
Yeah, but I have very little enthusiasm for anything that's happening right now.
No, I agree with that.
And I think the evil Santa like I'm going to find your dad first. I'm going to get to him. and then having the girl eat the cake, which had drugs in it, and she's like kind of hallucinating a little bit.
Yeah.
And sure.
I still like the Santa. I think he's got a presence.
Okay.
Like, you know, as a creepy villain goes, he hasn't got much depth, don't get me wrong, but he's got presence.
I don't know. I think the ending of the episode felt really anticlimactic to me.
Okay.
Because it felt like, okay, so he's trying to get information on this evil Santa at
Yeah.
this Santa strip club, and at the end of the episode, he's in the alley. He's got nothing of note. He's got this random backstory where it could be this other evil guy's kid that's grown up to be Santa,
Yeah.
and that's kind of it. And then he just goes out into the alleyway at the end, and evil Santa shows up and starts fighting with him. Of
No,
course,
I'm with you.
the notable thing, of course, is at the very end is that the evil Santa can see Happy.
Yeah, and I like this part. I do. I like that. It becomes a threat for Happy as well.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
makes
I've
it
got
more
no
involved.
complaints about that as a concept. I think the concept of that's fine.
Yeah.
My problem right now is that I'm just finding the episode really tedious to get through.
No, that's fair. I feel like this bit at the end should have been like, you know, maybe 5-10 minutes earlier, and had a little bit after it.
Yeah, maybe. Meanwhile, the ex-wife and Mary are teaming up to investigate things and investigate this other kidnapping, only to
Yeah.
find that the kid's actually just hiding in the attic, and it was all a ruse from the parents for attention.
Yeah. Yeah. It was not enjoyable, this side of things. It wasn't awful. Like, don't get me wrong, this wasn't the worst stuff that's been, but this felt like time wasting.
It did.
More than the strip club to me.
I think I said this last week, but I really feel the problem with the show is that it's got this really weird tone, and it's trying to be this wacky thing, but a lot of its characters are not that entertaining or interesting.
Yeah, like something I don't get with Mary. She's on the phone with the boss, and the boss man's like, "Hey, where's Sax? I'm waiting." And she goes, "Oh, don't worry, I've got a new in on Sax." And obviously looks over at the ex-wife. And it's like, yeah, but they haven't spoke. You know, as far as you know, they haven't spoken in years. That's kind of this whole thing, right? That they don't see each other. Why is she gonna know where he is? It just seems flawed logic. You saw him more recently than she did.
I can't argue with that. I mean, I don't know. Blue still sucks, but I mean, he's only in the phone call. For
Yeah, it's
scene
in
in
one
this
scene,
episode.
so it's hard to really complain.
It's hard to complain about that specifically in this episode. I think it's amazing to me like how little I feel like I accomplished in this episode, or how little the episode itself accomplished.
It does feel like it's got too many episodes for whatever it's trying to do.
Yeah, it feels like it's far too many, and
Yeah.
I shouldn't be feeling like the plot's dragging at episode 2 and 3.
No, definitely not. Like I said, I thought last it might have been a case of episode 2 syndrome, where often episode 2 is a lot slower because it just kind of takes a moment to catch everything up, and just reiterates the first one. Basically, is a very common problem. But this one, there were points where I thought, okay, we're moving again. Like near the start, when we got Happy and Sax in the car going off and doing stuff. I thought it was moving there, but then like I said, it grinds to a halt when we get to the strip club.
Yeah,
And that's like the first half of the episode has momentum right up until he goes and visits the prostitute. After there, when he gets to the strip club, it just halts for 15 minutes or so until we get to the ending, where it's like, okay, we're moving forward again.
well, it does up until the strip club, except for the fact that it keeps being interrupted by these flashbacks, which are very on nose, very
Yeah.
heavy-handed. I wasn't
Yeah.
feeling
I
those.
mean, but the actual core plot is moving, at least.
Yeah, but I mean, does it matter as much when it's been interrupted as often as it was
No,
with the
it's
flashbacks?
a very fair complaint.
Yeah, I'm just out. Like I don't want to like keep ragging on it that much, to be
No.
honest. Now I'm ready to throw in the towel and say, no, I'm done.
That's fair, because that's the thing. It's not the worst show. It's just it's not awful. It's just it could be so much better.
Just really mediocre.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
sometimes that's even worse. Sometimes, I mean, the fact that we should have had this review up yesterday, and we decided to do other things that we need to do instead, and
Yeah.
pushed it back, is not a good sign for any show.
I think I'm really disappointed that it never lives up to, the opening scene of episode one with the wacky dance and like, that was, what it promises the show to be. And then there was nothing like that in episode one. I thought, okay, maybe we'll get there. And now after three, it's like, it's not going to, is it? It's not going to be that. It's never going to be that. And that's just disappointing because that's what I want.
No, it needs, like, it obviously comes from a Grant Morrison comic. It's like, now Grant Morrison doesn't do TV, isn't direct or anything like that, but it kind of feels like one of those things where anyone but the person, the crazy man, like, it's like someone else tried to like do a season of Twin Peaks all on David Lynch. It would end up feeling like this mishmash kind of weird thing where the
Yeah, I
tone doesn't know
mean,
what it is.
we saw it for half a season.
That's true. Yeah, we did see it for half a
It, it
season.
was it was fucking atrocious.
But that's kind of what this feels like to me. It feels like, and again, there's not a right person for it because it's not like another director or anything like that. But it feels like this is not the right people doing this that should be doing it.
No, no, that's fair. And like, there's bits in there that are good, like Saxon Happy. They're good.
Hmm.
It's
That,
just everything they're surrounded by.
I'll be honest, though, even those in this episode were starting to wear thin in me.
Oh, that's fair.
So no, I guess that's I guess that's happy. So it's episode three. Of course, this will be the last one we do. We were thrown in the towel, but you can let us know what you thought of episode three, and if it gets better, if you keep watching it, by all means, let us know. But yeah, so like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Let us know in the comments. If you want to support the channel, get over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. If you want to get us on Twitter, at Twitter, at mailed_fuzz. There we go. Done.
Oh, we've still got a long night ahead of us if you're messing up that.
Outro successful. We'll see you next time, guys. Have you got any vanilla?